Hi, my name is Mitra Manesh. I'm a servant. I serve through teaching, coaching, consulting, or any other way that I can find to share what I know with those who want to know. And this Lights On podcast is one of those ways. It was created with consciousness and mindful living in heart. So join us as we travel through many roads of learning and transformation together. And if you enjoy our podcast, please give us feedback by rating us 5-star and share us with others if you think they may benefit from it. On behalf of my team, I thank you for your presence. This episode is a discussion around inner joy and outer happiness. Quite often we talk about these two concepts interchangeably as if they are the same thing. But the truth is that they are not the same thing. Their sources are different, and the way we connect to these experiences are different. But they do have a relationship with each other. They do inform each other. So let's take a listen and see if there is something new that we can start discovering and exploring. Inner joy, outer happiness. I'm going to just talk about the fact that in the first section of our class, we talked about the inner happiness, calling it joy, and outer happiness, calling it happiness, separating them from each other. And then we went into a practice and we rated our happiness, which is outwardly, and rated our joy, which is inwardly. The reason I did this separation was because I see in life, and if you disagree with me, please do speak out, that many of us, we really give too much importance to the outer happiness. In fact, sometimes I call it winning our life. When this happens, I'll be happy. When my child grows up, I'll be happy. When my business does well, I'll be happy. When I get into a partnership, I'll be happy. When I get out of the partnership, I'll be happy. So we'll be doing this winning all along our life. And that's fine, as long as we understand that we're talking about a conditional happiness that depends on something happening, not happening, ending, starting, or going a certain way. And when we bring awareness to that, then our expectations change and our relationship with happiness changes. There's so much importance given to outer happiness that sometimes we forget that there is something else that is completely in our command. We want to control the outer perspective of happiness because we think our happiness depends on it. And you know what happens. It's just like a toy that we buy for a child. Sooner or later, they get tired of it. It becomes normal, or it becomes a point of suffering. What if I lose it? What if somebody comes and takes it away? What if somebody has better than mine? So these are all qualifications and the nature of the outer things. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to tell you, please do not pursue outer happiness and do not buy things and do not do things and do not expect things. Not at all. But I'm saying you need to put it in a perspective that gets to a degree that you can handle your life. Because most of our outer unhappiness comes from this unnatural expectations that we have from life, and an understanding that we are almost always chasing the events and havings and doings of our life. And we are so attached to the results of it that it's hard for us to show up present and in this moment. So I'm here with you, I'm teaching a class, and then I'm thinking, oh, what about my dinner? And then I'm having my dinner, I'm thinking, oh, what about tomorrow's meeting? And then tomorrow's meeting arrives, I'm arranging tomorrow evening's meeting. So it's like I'm always chasing this whatever it is that I think will make me happy, or at least neutral. So that was the first thing. The second thing I wanted to say is that when I have a sense of inner joy, and we talk about that and how to connect with that. I mean, it's not something we achieve. It's not something we purchase. Inner joy is a natural state that is available to all of us. The question is not, how do I get it? The question is, how do I allow it? How do I connect with it? It's like somebody sitting in my office here and I'm just ignoring them. It's not that they're not here. It's that I am not connected with them. The question is not, how do I grab them and bring them here? The question is, how can I connect with them in a deeper place? Joy is the same thing. It's sitting here. It is there. It's available to us. And the question becomes, how do I connect to it better? Inner joy becomes a translator for the outer happiness. This is very interesting. So the more I am aware and connected to my joy, the easier becomes to experience outer happiness. And why is that? Because everything becomes more delicious. When I am in a state, when I'm connected, when my state of joy, then things are rosier for me. And those things that are not really, what I want them to be, they're not as magnified in my awareness as they would be if I'm not connected with my state of joy. And you probably have experienced that same thing happens, the same person says the same inappropriate things or does the same inappropriate things. Depending on where you are in life, you will have a different response or reaction to it. Same person, same kind of characteristics, same kind of words, but your reaction to them or your response to them, depending on where you are, is different. Why? Because it depends on where you are in your own awareness, where you are in your own state of joy. So the inner joy informs and translates the outer happiness, but it is not a necessary and same relationship. Outer happiness does not necessarily brings more inner joy. And how do we know that? We know that because many people who have all those things that we really desperately want, but they still aren't happy. They don't, which really, it's like they're not satisfied. They're not content with what they have. So we're attaching our happiness to things and to dates and to occasions, when this happens, when that happens, when this person does this, and when I have that, and when I'm in this part of my life. And what we don't realize is that we're giving up our powers. I'm saying my happiness depends on how, fill in the blank, how my child speaks to me, whether or not they are in the part of life that I want them to be, or whether my partner is doing this, whether my team members are doing it. Let's take it more global. When the world awakens, somebody told me that. I said, when are you going to be a little bit happier? And he said to me, he's one of my clients, and he said, when the world awakens, Mitra. I said, let's work on your awakening and my awakening first, and we'll go to the world and see what happens. But that's a huge condition. Imagine I'm sitting here waiting for 7 billion people to wake up. Well, I'll be miserable for a long time. So what am I saying? Am I trying to tell you do not pursue outer happiness? Not at all. I'm saying please do it in the context of understanding joy and that connection that is very, very important. And then you will see that this outer happiness actually becomes far more possible and even more delicious when it is there and we're not seeing it most of the time. Hope this episode answered the question or two for you, or provoked and inspired questions in you. I'm so grateful you showed up and listened up. Until the next time, be well and stay curious.